How to debate ideas 1. What is a debate? It is a discussion between two or more opposing sides of one topic or issue. It is also a peaceful approach at resolving certain issues when making decisions. Who debates? Any two or more people with opposing ideas can and may need to debate. People who need to verbally resolve a conflict may also debate. How does a debate start? It starts when one person is not easily persuaded by another person's ideas. He will then have to defend his notions by proving them and disproving the other person's notions. Presenting your thoughts. You need to explain your point in the clearest and shortest way.
What do you have to say about this?
I'd like to start by explaining why I am in favor of opening an office in Singapore. Our clients have been asking if we have a presence in Asia. I feel it would boost our international image if we did.
Finishing one subject and moving on to another. You need to highlight your last point and highlight your next one.
I've told you about how opening an office in Singapore will boost our international image. Let me turn now to how this move will help expand our market share.
Analyzing a point. You will also want people to really think about your point.
Well, let's consider this in more detail. Opening a new office in Singapore will cost us. We'll have to rent a space, find people.
Yes, but what does this mean for our company? It will mean eventually more business coming in. That's more cost for now, but more profit in the long term. Below are more phrases you can use in a debate. Moving back to the point. You will want to organize your arguments carefully. What about the cost of opening a new office in Singapore?
We'll be examining that point in more detail later on. I have prepared a cost projection table for that.
Order and sequencing. You will also want people to follow your points closely.
First of all, we can hold interviews for sales agents in Singapore. Then we can hire interns who will want to work with a global sales company. After that, we can study the market in greater detail.
Using examples. You will want to introduce supporting ideas. It will help to introduce examples very clearly. I'm still not convinced this is a worthy investment. Business hasn't been doing well, and in fact, we haven't had much success outside North America. To illustrate this point, let's recall that we've recently had to close down our 2 sub-offices in Australia. Summarizing. At the end of your discussion, you will also want to remind people of everything you said.
Let's summarize briefly what we've looked at. First, we discussed how opening a new office in Singapore would boost our global presence. Second, we looked at why we should tap Asia's emerging economies. How to debate ideas 3. There are debates in which you will be assigned to a specific side. You should be ready to support and defend whichever side is chosen for you.
What is your stand on employee work hours?
I am all for flexible work hours. In order to convince the other side, you must provide strong and sufficient supporting arguments.
Why are you in favor of flexible work hours?
I am convinced that giving employees flexible hours would save the company thousands of dollars in overtime pay. A debate can be won if you can do 2 things: give convincing arguments in favor of your side, and find holes or weaknesses in the arguments of the opposing side.
But don't you think that giving employees the freedom to organize their own work hours would affect productivity?
The problem with that argument is that it neglects to consider that our job is output-based. As long as our employees meet their deadlines, it doesn't matter what time they come in or what time they leave. You should anticipate counter-arguments from the opposing side. In fact, you may still persuade the other side by providing good answers to their counter-arguments.
You have a point. However, the workflow isn't just about deadlines. There is a timeline to be followed.
That may be true, but the deadlines are already organized according to that timeline. How to debate ideas. 4. A good summary in a debate reiterates your arguments as well as your answers to counter-arguments. To make sure that your listeners can follow the flow of your summary, you must use keywords.
Let's review our main points. First, we discussed the importance of corporate social responsibility campaigns to businesses in general. Second, we covered the potential benefits of a CSR campaign for our company. Third, we talked about the CSR projects our company could go into. Lastly, we discussed how much we can invest on CSR.
There are phrases you can use to organize your summary.
Let's have a brief recap of the many ways our company can benefit from CSR. To start off, we talked about a survey by ABC Research Institute that showed majority of consumers prefer to buy from a company that helps improve society. Then we moved on to a discussion on how CSR efforts can help us win more customers.
You can also signal the end of your summary with keywords.
On a final note, let me reiterate that engaging in CSR efforts can help us generate positive publicity and media opportunities.